Shalom. I want to start this off by giving all the praise and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, Wahawakak. Peace and salutations to the elect men of Israel, starting with the other apostles of GMS on down to the rest of you brothers who are diligently pushing forth the will and doctrine of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. In all faith, truth, and sincerity. To all of you, I say Shalom. So this is Habakkuk chapter 2. In verse 2 it says, "And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it." So this is this lesson is gonna be going into basically how our job is to show forth these words to our people in a plain way, you know. That they can receive it and ultimately receive salvation, you know. More specifically, the elect of Israel, right? And Israel being made up of the people that you know to be so-called Black, Negro, Latino, and Native American Indians, you know. Those are the true Hebrew Israelites. Not Black Hebrew Israelites, because we're not Black, but Hebrew Israelites. Right? But I just wanted to hit the point of we the only people who this world was given to, right? And we the only people that can teach this word correctly. The way that Esau operates is not to make things plain upon tables, you know. What he likes to do is he likes to jargon, right? So I want to get that word. That would be a good word to grab. So this right here is jargon.
Jargon.
It says special words or expressions that are used by a particular professional group and are difficult for others to understand. It says a form of language regarded as barbarous. that's a spirit. Barbarous, debased, or hybrid. And what's this? Why I say it's experience? Because we understand English is a bastard language. You know, it comes from a brutish, barbaric man. You know, and you know, when you go into like the ancient Hebrew, the Paleo Hebrew is fairly simple. You know, pull up a picture. Right. It's fairly simple. Starting from the right to the left, you know. You got Abba, Gada, Hawaza, Ha, Taya, Ka, Lamana, Sa'ai, Pa, Taza, Kwa, Ra, Sha, Ta. You know. So it's fairly simple. But Esau, what he liked to do is he liked the jargon, you know, which is him using words that are difficult for others to understand. You know, you go to the doctor, he give you this overly complicated, you know, diagnosis of a label term, you know. And for those that don't know, you know what I'm saying, you sitting there confused, but like you would have to basically break down the word to actually understand what the hell he, you know what I'm saying, he just tried to diagnose you with, and they do it so that way they could ultimately destroy us, The Lord said, "Why speak, to them in a in a tongue they understand not," roughly paraphrasing, Let me see. I know I'm butchering it, but a little willing if I. Yeah, I know I'm tired. Yeah, this is 1 Corinthians 4:14 verse 1. It says, "Follow after charity and desire spiritual gifts, but rather that ye may prophesy." And see, that's just going on to show you our job and profession is to go on and preach this word, and to to be able to prophesy. You one gotta have this the spirit given, but you gotta read, you gotta understand these words, you gotta put in the time and work to be able to do that, right? And it's all for the purpose of relaying what it is that you learned, relaying the things that have been given, It's a gift to be able to understand these scriptures, because the word is likened unto a book that is sealed, Not everybody can get it, and at the same level as another, and not everybody's written to truly understand it. That's something to take heed to. But nonetheless, we aren't trying to do what Esau do, because Esau, he use all these phylacteries and all these different how would I say political terms and phrases. He's trying to come in this high and mighty, lofty spirit with the words that he used, which is just him jargon, and it's a way for him to be deceitful and see how he can devour you, see that how he can ultimately deceive you, right? And I'm gonna come back here, but it just makes me think of Psalms. I want to say it's 55 and 21. Yeah. Let's keep it to the point. This is Psalms 55 verse 21. It says, "The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart." It says, "His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords." You see? In the NLT it says, "His words are smooth as butter, but in his heart is war. His words are soothing as lotion, but underneath are daggers." And And daggers are typically synonymous with like backstabbing, being sneaky or deceitful, right? You being deceptive or you sneaking, you know, you doing something with ill intent secretly, like you trying to catch somebody off guard, right? And that's exactly what he does. Esau, he tries to Salakia. Esau, what he tries to do is he tries to over how would I say, like overdo the word by trying to like make it all extra theatric, in all the wrong ways, really. Because with him making things all extra theatrical, right? Which is basically just to say like being overly dramatic with how he tries to bring out the word, right? He doesn't show forth the spirit, and all of the supernatural things that are of the Lord that are possible, like us receiving new bodies, like the fact that reincarnation is real, like you being your forefathers, from times past, right? A slew of different things. But that's why it wasn't given to him, That's why he's not the saints. That's why he's not the prophets, right? All those professions are of Israel, right? But jumping back to that 1 Corinthians 14. Started at 2, says, "For he that speaketh in an unknown tongue speaketh not unto men, but unto God." It says, "For no man understandeth him, howbeit in the spirit he speaketh mysteries." It says, "But he that prophesieth speaketh unto men to edification." You see? It says, "and exhortation and comfort." It says, "He that speaketh in an unknown tongue edifieth himself." See, that's the point. "But he that prophesieth edifieth the church." So it's like, you speaking on high things that, people can't understand. You got a lot of people amongst Israel, or that maybe Israelites themselves, but they're not of the Lord's, Israel, the Lord's chosen Israel, the elect and hopefully, like, right? They go on to try to boast of high things and, certain things that are hard for Jake to understand. We understand, one, Jake got like a short attention span, but then two, they're destroyed for lack of knowledge. So they don't know nothing, We know our people are sadish. We know our people are simple. The Lord said that, "Oh, ye simple ones, how long will you love simplicity?" That's why we gotta keep it plain, right? Esau tried to like dangle keys or a chew toy to a dog, if you will. That's how he comes with his approach. Show you these nice soothing words that seem so joyous and just, it's like the goofy ass, Christmas spirit. All extra jolly, all extra warm and welcoming. This that's the one time of the year they put up
more lights than any time, you know, and it's completely filled with darkness. It's all deception, right? But again, we're looking to save our people, so we gotta make sure that we speak in a way that they can understand, you know. It says, "But he that prophesieth speaketh unto men to edification and exhortation and comfort." It says, "He that speaketh in an unknown tongue edifieth himself, but he that prophesieth edifieth the church." It says, "I would that ye all spake with tongues, but rather that ye prophesied. For greater is he that prophesieth than he that speaketh with tongues, except he interpret, that the church may receive edifying." You see? So that's like making sure that you able to relate the message that's being shown in the spirit, you know? The things that are shown onto specific men, you know, like the men above us, you know, like the men above me, right? Like I know the brother, you know, Pada, he, you know what I'm saying, a beautiful teacher, you know. I know the Lord showed him certain things on a certain level, right? And the brother do a beautiful job of being able to interpret those things that the church may receive that, you know, edification. And that's important because that's how we are able to grow, you know. You keep it simple. It's like how Shai, when he was speaking to the men, you know, he would give them parables to be able to understand. It's like Matthew 13, you know. The way that, or I should say, the way that he used certain parables, you know, it'll be in a way for certain to understand and for others not to, you know, or he'd give more than one, right? He'd start breaking it down, giving examples, you know, real life examples that are able to be understood. I just want to grab this quick scripture. And it's a good one too. Romans chapter 12 and verse 16, it says, "Be of the same mind one toward another." It says, "Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate." And that high things is like speaking in an unknown tongue, you know, in a way that, you know, the Most High can understand. But it says, "But condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits." Right? I just want to see what that word conceits going to. Excessive pride on oneself. So you just making sure that you not getting so caught up in yourself that you forgetting. You looking to keep things simple. For people to understand. Right. And that's really like a key thing that you could pay attention to tell whether or not this man is a true teacher of the Lord. Is he trying to go into hard things and constantly trying to bring up things and looking to be the first one to bring something new out, not even realizing, even though this word is old, in a lot of ways it's still new to us, because the Lord's Spirit is in all things, right? And he's omnipotent, omnipotent. The word itself is like a two-edged sword, Hebrews chapter 4 verse 12 says, "For the word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart," of the mind, right? So the Lord's word is very manifold, The more that we read, the more that we give attention to reading, holding to our profession, right? Building in the spirit, receiving that increase, you able to gain experience and more understanding, of the Lord's word. We show forth the Lord's word plainly for those to be able to see how it manifests itself in real life, simply. How to get yourself right, simply, within your daily dealings. Right? And that all comes through you looking to, be masterful and temperate in the Lord's word. Right? 1 Corinthians 9 and verse, I'm going to start 24. It says, "Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that ye may obtain." You want to strive to be the best that you can be, because your life depends on it. There's only one first place, How bad do you really want it? But it says, verse 25, that's the point. It says, "And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things." It says, "Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we are incorruptible." Let's see that. That word mastery. Okay. So I go into this drive. Let's do it like this. That ain't bad, but mastery says proficiency, knowledge, capability, understanding, your comprehension. It says skill, expertise, skillfulness, finesse. Yeah. It's like being able to have a certain finesse with words, to be able to relay a message, to somebody else so they can get it. That's not an easy thing. Not everybody's able to do that. So if you're able to do that, that's beautiful. Being able to articulate yourself very well, and that's the spirit. Because one of my favorite accounts is with Moses when he was speaking to the Lord. I'll be doing it like this. And this something beautiful, because this is a part of that increase that you're able to receive with the Lord, This is Exodus 4 and verse 10. It says, and Moses said unto the Lord, my Lord, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore, nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant, but I am slow of speech and of a slow tongue. You see? So this even show you don't gotta be the most, articulate. That's a skill that could be taught, gained, and received all through the Lord. You turn your disadvantage into an advantage. All through Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. It says, verse 11, and the Lord said unto him, who hath made man's mouth? Or who maketh the dumb, or deaf, or the seeing, or the blind? It says, have not I the Lord? It says, now therefore go, and I will be with thy mouth, and teach thee that thou shalt say what thou shalt say. You see? And he said, O my Lord, send, I pray thee, by the land of him whom thou wilt send. Yes, that's the point, really. Verse 12, right? With the Lord saying, I will be with thy mouth, right? And teach thee what thou shalt say. That's a beautiful thing to be able to receive, the knowledge and the wisdom to be able to articulate yourself in a way to where you can basically be like a chameleon, talk to a slew of different people that come from different demographics, different lifestyles, different situations, and be able to pierce their heart for them to be able to receive this word, but in a way that's likened unto righteousness, not wickedness. Because Esau do this too, but he do it for wicked intent. His intentions are wicked with what he does. Like we read in that Psalms 55. And that's something to really pay attention to. The Lord said to condescend to men of low estate. Who's the lowest of the low? Our people. So you aren't looking to be like these, nigga pastors, the coon pastors, if you will, looking to put on the suit and tie, talking about Jesus. We're not doing none of that. Keeping it simple, keeping it plain, keeping it raw, rough, Because the knowledge is still there. Though I be rude in speech, yet not knowledge. Right? And that's really the point. You know, because it ain't nothing too drawn out. But nonetheless, you want to make sure that you speaking in a way to where, you know, our people can understand. Because that was what was commanded of us. It says, and the Lord said, Habakkuk 2:2, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. You see? So you want to make sure that you learning, you able you truly seeking to receive this word, you know? The more that you read, the more that you seek and desire to gain more, the more that you're gonna be able to, learn and understand. And to be able to teach another. You know? Grab one last one. This is 1 Timothy 4:16. Take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine. Continue in them, for in doing this thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee. Somebody can't hear you or understand you, if you're not speaking in a way to where they can hear and understand you, right? Get that word. Hear. To be endowed with the faculty of hearing, not deaf. To attend to, consider what is and has been said. To understand, perceive the sense of what is said. You see, to hear something, right? You looking to speak in a way, with this word, with this doctrine, to where you're able to save someone else along with yourself. So keep it plain. Don't overdo it, because you got others that go on to try to do that. Searching out all the wrong things. Don't give heed to those things. Don't have itching ears. Leading yourself to wickedness. We keep it plain, because ultimately we are plain. That was a trait that was given to Jacob. plain man dwelling in tents, and that plain goes into morally and ethically pure. Don't get caught up in with how this world is set up. This world is set up to jargon, if you will. Deal with a whole bunch of extra stuff rather than just keeping it simple. So that's it. Lord, this has been edifying. And with that, I'm gonna say call La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Wahawakak Wadash. Till next time, I say Shalom.